In this tutorial, we'll show you how to configure approval policies to govern data changes in Enterprise Data Management Cloud. You can assign approval policies at the application, dimension, node type, or hierarchy set level. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to assign an approval policy at the dimension level using 3 approvers. You are signed in as Casey, who is the owner of the Financials Cloud application. Let's open a view. This Entity Maintenance view has 3 viewpoints. It provides a central location to manage and share entity dimension data across 3 separate applications. Let's inspect permissions for the Financials Cloud application. In this example, Casey is the application owner and Kerry is the data manager. You must have owner permission for an application or dimension to enable an approval policy. Policies set at higher levels cascade to objects lower in the data chain. Now, let's configure an approval policy for the corporate company dimension in the Financials Cloud application. The Policies tab includes an approval policy which is disabled by default. You can enable the approval policy to require approvals for changes to data. Open the approval policy for the corporate company dimension. The General tab provides general information about the approval, such as name, description, policy type, status, policy level, and so forth. Let's edit the approval policy definition. Enable the policy. Select one of the 2 approval method options. Serial means that approvers must approve change requests one at a time in the order of the users and groups listed in the approval groups list. Parallel means that approvers can approve in any order at the same time. I'll select Parallel. Use the One Approval Per Group checkbox to specify that one approver from each group is required to approve. When you select the Serial approval method, this is automatically set to true. When using the Parallel method, you have the option to deselect this and use the Total Required field to specify the total number of approvers required across all groups. You can select Include Submitter to specify that if the request submitter is a member of an approval group, the submitter's approval is applied automatically. I'll leave this blank. Set Reminder Notification to the number of days until the system sends a reminder for an approval. Set Approval Escalation to the number of reminders that the system will send before the system escalates the request approval to a data manager for the application or dimension. Now let's add approval groups. An approval group can be a group or an individual user. Note, the users and groups in this list are automatically granted browser permission on the data objects in the approval policy. Save the policy. Now, signed in as Casey, let's create and submit a request to illustrate the approval process. In the Corporate GL viewpoint, create a request and add a node. Optionally, you can add a comment. Recall that there are 3 approvers for this policy, the approval method is parallel, and 2 approvers must approve the request. When you submit the request, the system sends an approval invitation to all 3 approvers. It includes information about the request items, and the request workflow. To navigate to the request, you can either click the email link or sign in and click the pending Request to Approve activity on the home page. Notice the request status is in flight and the stage is Approve. Select the request to open the request in the view where it was submitted. The first request item is visualized in the viewpoint where the change was made. Barry has the option to approve the request, push back the request to the submitter so that the submitter can make edits and resubmit, or reject the request, which closes the request and sends a notification to the request submitter. You can add comments to the request at the request level or the request item level. The system supports threaded conversations for both request comments and request item comments. Let's approve the request and confirm the approval. If you view the request activity, you can see the status is still in flight and the stage is still Approve. The Modified field shows that Barry last modified the request. Inspect the request to view the approval workflow, including which policy is being enforced, who has already approved, and who is still invited to approve. Recall that 2 of the 3 approvers for this policy must approve the request. You still need 1 more approval before the request is committed. Let's sign in as another approver, Carol, and repeat the process to approve the request. Now, when you view the request activity, the request status is changed to completed, stage is changed to closed, and Carol last modified the request. Inspect the request to view the approval workflow. All approvals for the request are completed. Let's sign in as the third approver, Frank. You can see that there are no requests to approve because the 2 required approvals are already completed. In this tutorial, you saw how to configure approval policies to govern data changes in Enterprise Data Management Cloud. To learn more, visit cloud.oracle.com.